What's up, y'all? What's good? What's good? So, yeah, we're going to get into it. I recall some years ago, I don't know how many, it seemed like it's been quite a while where, and I know a lot of y'all have heard this, but I remember because I'm always reading articles. I always come across different articles, and this had to have been 10 years or more. It seemed like it. I just recall reading an article where it was saying that the FBI can or will start listening to your phone or listening through your phone, right? Let me see. Can you get a close up? This is, oh, there we go. We have to have where the body is. So, yeah, I mean, there was word anyway. Word always went out that the FBI could listen through your phone. So that's one part of it. The other part is it seemed like more or less through the music industry, but every now and then outside of the music industry, there was always these suspicious car crashes. There was another one. Hold on, because I started writing down some names. I forget the dude's name, but maybe y'all can fill in the comments there. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it right there. I'm gonna pull that up here in a second. But throughout the years, there's been some suspicious car crashes as well that end up leading to death. It always seems like, the word was either somebody was getting ready to go tell something, right? Or somebody started telling something, and all of a sudden, they revealed something, and all of a sudden, car crash and they died. It's always someone in the music industry or a celebrity or some sports figure. Um, Let me put that name in as well. I was going to say it, but I'm going to hold off for a second. There's a video I'm going to show y'all, right? That's very revealing. And I'll reveal who it is very shortly. All right. So we're going to get into it, man. This is Thoughts of a Black Man. All right. Let the black man speak. So let's get into it. All right. Let's go. A black man's perspective don't hit until the world feels it. You're watching Thoughts of a Black Man. Yeah, so check this out before we get into the video. I'm going to pull up some names here, and I'm sure you all remember these names. There's one I don't know the last name of, but you know who I'm talking about, right? And y'all could put it in the comments who I'm referring to. But I find it very interesting, even when you always use the word critical observation. And to me, that's just being very maybe close to hyper observant. And sometimes you can be just casually observant where you're doing whatever you're doing throughout the day, but then something picks up, you pick up on something, and then you pay attention to it, whether it's critical listening or critical observation. And your ears or your eyes pick up on something and register it in, like file it in, put it in your file of the brain for maybe future purposes, right? And I got to thinking once I've seen this video. I was thinking about this beforehand, but then when I seen this video, I was like, that makes a lot of sense now. All the pieces of the puzzle I found another piece of the puzzle to click into place. So let me pull up these names real quick, right? Let me pull up these names here real quick that I wrote down. just to give you some kind of reference, right? So you guys remember the Anthony Joshua crash, Angie Stone, Shorty Low. Y'all know who Shorty, or some of y'all do, from Atlanta, I think. And the Paul guy from that movie, I forget the name of the movie and I forget his last name, the white guy. He was involved in the crash too, right? And maybe to a lesser extent, maybe Tiger Woods. Maybe there was something going on with Tiger Woods as well that might be related to all of this, right? And so let's look at the Anthony Joshua thing. He was fighting Jake Paul, and I found that really odd that he had a fight with Jake Paul, and then apparently, this is just me guesstimating, if you will. It's always been said that Jake Paul and whoever he fights sets up these fights so that he can win. And of course, the person that fought will get some money out of it too, as long as they go along with the script, right? And then I think Gervonta Davis was supposed to be some talk about Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul fighting, but there was some video that they were saying that Gervonta Davis was kind of exposing the situation that Jake Paul, the things that he be doing with these fights. So, as y'all know, Anthony Joshua knocked down, or you can say it was a knockout. You know, Jake Paul wasn't laid out and asleep, but, you know, he got knocked down, and I don't think he got back up, but he kind of shook his head like, wow, that was a wild punch. And it was always speculated that he wasn't supposed to do that, and that Jake Paul does these kind of signals. It could be with the hand, or he could stick his tongue out and go like that, and that's supposed to mean something to the other fighter, and the fighter's supposed to either not hit too hard or to do something else, whatever that code meant, that body code meant, whatever that the code is they would use or agreed upon to use. And it seems like, you know, just kind of speculating, Anthony Joshua went off script. Then all of a sudden he get into this car crash, and his buddies in the car crash died, but he didn't. That was one thing. Then you had the Angie Stone situation. She was speaking up about the music industry, or a particular record label or company that was not paying her what she was owed. And so she started speaking up. She gets involved in the crash. Now, I can't remember the Shorty Low situation. I don't know if it had something to do with T.I. So I'm not going to say, yeah, that's what it had to do, because I don't remember. And I don't have the details on what happened before he was involved in the crash, because if I'm not mistaken, he was also involved in a car crash, right? Then you have the Paul dude. I think he was in that movie with Ludacris might have been in it, and a few other well-known people. And he ended up, y'all know I'm talking about, the white guy, and he ended up getting into a crash. And then you have Tiger Woods. The situation, I guess that might have something to do with him constantly winning all these golf matches and nobody else can beat him. And they kind of threw in the girlfriend or the nanny in the mix somewhere. And I think he was involved in a crash. He didn't die from it, but Shorty Low died, Angie Stone, the Paul guy, and Anthony Joshua didn't die. So Tiger Woods and Anthony Joshua didn't die from the car crashes, but they got apparently injured, right? So it made me, you know, when that stuff starts happening constantly with people who speak up about stuff, or there's speculation they're going to come out and tell something, these car crashes come. And that's not the only way they get death. You get heart attacks. That's these celebrities get, because remember Heavy D, and then I don't know with Ray J, because, you know, he kind of plays a lot of games, but his mom supposedly came out and said that the situation Ray J was in with his heart was real. And you have, other cases similar. And then you have, sometimes you got the cases where, the drownings and stuff in the tub. But we're going to stick to the technology part of this today. I'm not even going to start going into this other stuff. Because as you see on the screen, they can control your car. CIA hacking tech. Can they listen to you through the television? All right. Let's show this video, man, that I came across. Some of you know who this guy is. Some of you don't. And he's going to go ahead and introduce himself so you start knowing who he is. I'm going to let the video play through once. Then we're going to come back and kind of break it down, play it through again, stop and start type of deal. All right. So, yeah, let's pull this video up, man.
I'm John Kiriakou. I'm a former CIA counterterrorism officer and former senior investigator for the U.S. Senate Committee on Foreign Relations, and I'm here today to answer questions from the Honesty Box. Does the CIA listen through our phones and laptop cameras? Yes. I hate to say it. There was a dramatic leak in 2017 that the CIA came to call the Vault 7 disclosures. Gigabytes worth of documents leaked by a CIA technology engineer. What he told us was that the CIA can intercept anything from anyone, number one. Number two, they can remotely take control of your car through the car's embedded computer. To do what? To make you drive off a bridge, into a tree, to make you kill yourself and make it look like an accident. They can take over your smart television and turn the speaker into a microphone so that they can listen to what's being said in the room even when the TV is turned off. God knows what else that they can do that hasn't been leaked.
All right. So earlier, you remember me mentioning that I read an article some years ago about there was talk about the FBI being able to or soon they will go ahead and start listening to your conversations through your cell phone. Right. And then a lot of people throughout the years started noticing, it got better and better as time went on, or it increased as time went on, that when you say something around your phone, all of a sudden you see ads pop up on the screen. Like you might go to Facebook and all of a sudden you talked about, for instance, let's say you talked about a specific cologne, or you talked about some type of boxing gloves or a particular article of clothing. Then you would go to Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, and sometimes even on YouTube. And all of a sudden, these ads will just automatically pop up about stuff that you was talking about. Or you can be on a particular, now, even more recently, you could be on Instagram, for example, and you could be talking about a particular situation that occurred. And next thing you know, you're going to be looking for a particular video you had in mind, but videos in relation to what you were discussing with somebody, those type of videos pop up on the screen, right? So again, like I said, there was a bunch of, or an article I said that where it was mentioning that, the FBI is going to be able to have the capacity to listen to your phone. And a lot of people wasn't sure about that, was on the fence. Some people didn't like it. They said it was invasion of privacy, but nobody really fought it. But now we got a CIA dude, because like I said, what really hit me about this video is when he mentioned about the cars, right? So let's go ahead and go back and play this and kind of talk about it just a little bit, all right?
Hello, I'm John Kiriakou. I'm a former CIA counterterrorism officer and former senior investigator for the U.S. Senate Committee on Foreign Relations.
Well, real quick, this guy right here, he blew the whistle on the waterboarding, if y'all remember that, the waterboarding situation, like you, I don't know if it's different forms of waterboarding, but we was kind of always, or I kind of known it to be where they could take a wash rag or something like to that effect, put it over your face. You know, you're laying back on a bed or a bench or something they wrap you into. It could be like those barbershop chairs, and then they can make the chair go all the way back. They'll take a wash rag or something to that effect. One or two people will hold the rag over your face while the other person starts pouring water on it, and they pulling it on your face super tight, right? And the effect is that it makes it feel like you're drowning, right? And so apparently this guy went on and blew the whistle and ended up doing time for it. So if you watch a lot of his videos or interviews of him, he's really bitter about the CIA, about the agency he worked for. He's very bitter because they took all his money away, and of course he did jail time and stuff like that. He has some books out on Amazon if you're interested in the type of books that he has on Amazon. All right, you might want to go on and pick that up. I'm not getting paid for that, stuff, for promoting his stuff, but I'm just kind of telling you. And so that's kind of in a nutshell, small, little, quick, brief, his background. All right, that's his background. So let's play this again here. And you can watch interviews of him and get more details.
Hello, I'm John Kiriakou. I'm a former CIA counterterrorism officer and former senior investigator for the U.S. Senate Committee on Foreign Relations, and I'm here today to answer questions from the Honesty Box. Does the CIA listen through our phones and laptop cameras? Yes. I hate to say it. There was a dramatic leak in 2017 that the CIA came to call the Vault 7 disclosures.
So write that down, the Vault 7 disclosures. That was 2017. Research that if you want to know more about that. He's going to kind of break it down just a little bit.
Gigabytes worth of documents leaked by a CIA technology engineer. What he told us was that the CIA can intercept anything from anyone, number one. Number two, they can remotely take control of your car through the car's embedded computer. To do what? What? To make you drive off a bridge, into a tree, to make you kill yourself, and make it look like...
Let me play that one again real quick, all right?
Told us was that the CIA can intercept anything from anyone, number one. Number two, they can remotely take control of your car through the car's embedded computer. To do what? To make you drive off a bridge, into a tree, to make you kill yourself, and make it look like an accident.
All right, so before I play the rest of it, when he said that, it made me, when I first seen this video, I was going, Now, we don't know if the CIA was involved in these crashes with these people, and there's plenty other crashes that's happened. I just kind of remember these names off the top of my head. But if they're not per se the ones involved, and he didn't say like how they was doing it, but he just said they can go through the car's computer system. And so we don't know if the CIA sells this information to others, to private individuals. We don't know if record companies hire any CIA employees, operatives, spies, if you will, who know how to do this type of stuff so they can take certain people out. Again, these names here kind of ring a bell, and you probably can come up with a whole host of others. Put it in the comments if you can think of some other people as well that have been involved in suspicious crashes, right? So we don't know if people are purchasing this type of information to know how to make cars crash so they can take out those who speak up, who stand up for themselves, and rightfully so. Angie Stone, right? Who fall off script. We don't know what connections Jake Paul has, if any, right? These are just kind of speculation because I thought that was pretty odd. My first initial thoughts was, oh, when Anthony Joshua was involved in that crash, I was like, yeah, he was supposed to do something and he didn't do it, and that was his punishment. Someone made that vehicle crash, and unfortunately, his buddies that were in the vehicle with him in Africa, if I'm not mistaken, I forget which country in Africa. So all of a sudden, he gets into a car crash. I'm like, yeah, he wasn't gonna go on the script. He felt like, nah, I know what this is, and I'm not gonna follow this script. And then somebody was like, yeah, we're gonna make him pay. We don't know if it's somebody associated with Jake Paul or not. We don't know if he has something to do with it. We don't know if he had knowledge on how to do that. We don't know who's connected to him that can go and have that done. But like John Kiriakou said, yeah, the CIA, they got this and that. He really seemed like he got a real axe to grind with the CIA. So, and supposedly, CIA and its employees, for lack of better terms and words, come to an agreement about when they retire, what they're allowed to say and what they're not allowed to say. So I guess he's really like pushing the line on certain things, on what he can reveal and what he doesn't reveal. And he really seemed like he got an axe to grind with the CIA. He seemed like he feels like they really did him dirty, right? And like I said, go check out interviews of him and you can make that judgment on your own. But he's telling everybody, like, look, yeah, the CIA got the technology to make your car crash. It can make you run into a tree. It can make you drive off a cliff. All right, make you spin out. Then didn't have the Paul dude got into a crash. They said his car spun out, right? If I'm not mistaken, I can't remember off the top of my head. But let me see. Let me look this up real quick. Maybe I can find out, get a baseline information real quick. Real quick. Let me see something real quick. Yep. Shorty Lowe did die in a car crash, but the details of how it happened matter, and it wasn't just a simple accident. Imagine that, right? The crash happened in September 21st, 2016. They said it was around 2:20 a.m. in Atlanta. He was driving a 2016 Audi and on an exit ramp of a I-285 Cascade Road exit. He lost control of the car. The car went over a guardrail, then hit trees. The vehicle flipped, rolled over, and caught fire. All right. They said he was ejected from the car during the crash. So just doing a real quick, look up on Chat GPT. Yeah, because I think I remember that. I think I remember something about the car spinning or rolling. And like I said, with the Paul dude too, right? I think his car spun out. I don't remember how Angie Stone, what happened with her vehicle. And then Tiger Woods had his thing going on, right? And we know about Anthony Joshua most recently. So he's letting people know, like, yo, yeah, they got technology. They got a way to hack the cars and make it look like it was an accident. And you would think that would be only for enemies of the US, real high level enemies. But I'm beginning, like I said, it's been on my mind for a little bit. I'm beginning to wonder. Now, I never thought it was CIA, but I just thought yeah, somebody is doing this. Somebody has some ways of knowing how to do it. And he's saying the CIA definitely can, but who else has the same type of information and intel? Did the CIA sell that out? Did the CIA hire somebody or somebodies, multiple, who knows how to do these things? Did the CIA train people inside the CIA how to do these things? And has any of these people that know how to do it branched out on their own and sold that type of information to others, to maybe record label execs, and maybe the execs go on and hire somebody privately to do these things, to Angie Stone, or in the movie industry to that Paul dude, right? In the sporting industry, when it came to Tiger Woods' crash, how much information is being, that type of information is being given out to folks, right? Makes you wonder. And it makes, like I said, it seemed like another piece of that puzzle that I can now connect. Because one puzzle was, yeah, these crashes are suspicious. Even Princess Diana, that situation, but it's supposedly she was being chased. But still, we don't know, even though she might have been being chased, there's a lot of rumors surrounding that situation as well, about how her vehicle flipped. So, yeah, let's play this again.
The CIA can intercept anything from anyone, number one. Number two, they can remotely take control of your car through the car's embedded computer. To do what? To make you drive off a bridge, into a tree, to make you kill yourself and make it look like an accident. They can take over your smart television and turn the speaker into a microphone so that they can listen to what's being said in the room even when the TV is turned off. God knows what else that they can do that hasn't been leaked.
All right, so that was another thing that I remember hearing too, that was more in recent years, that if you had one of those flat screen TVs, before they started really creating the what do you call those smart televisions, smart TVs, that the more and more smart TVs were coming out, people were starting to purchase them. Then the information of, they can see you through the cameras of the smart TV, or they can hear you through the smart TV, started coming out, that type of information. And it's almost like this guy's verifying, like, yeah, the CIA can do that. They have a way to do that. And like I said, what is that? The Vault 7. We're going to listen to that again. Again, just jot that down, and you might want to do some research.
I'm a former CIA counterterrorism officer and former senior investigator for the U.S. Senate Committee on Foreign Relations, and I'm here today to answer questions from the Honesty Box. Does the CIA listen through our phones and laptop cameras? Yes. I hate to say it. There was a dramatic leak in 2017 that the CIA came to call the Vault 7 disclosures.
All right, so the Vault 7 disclosures. Write that down, ladies and gentlemen. The Vault 7 disclosures.
Came to call the Vault 7 disclosures. Gigabytes worth of documents leaked by a CIA technology engineer. What he told us.
So again, you got somebody else from the CIA leaking stuff out to let people know, like, yo, this is what's going on with y'all. And it seems like it's always, why you trying to, or why they are, either they being told to do it, maybe they don't want to do it, but they're being told to do it. But still, you can not do something if you don't want to do it, if you don't agree with doing that. But for some reason, it seemed like it's always against American citizens. Now, I know it's one thing if you want to get the immigrant so-called American citizens, because you don't know what their intentions, but just to go to Americans and either at random or just in general, that ain't flying. It don't seem like it's flying, and it makes you wonder like why, because not everybody's into doing a bunch of criminal type of stuff, especially on no national level or no terrorist type of level. Not everybody's is interested in doing all that, but they still want to go ahead and find some ways to kind of spy on their own people. But they won't go and spy on these other countries that need to be spied on. They got to some certain countries they can't even get their spies into the country. They have to rely on some other country spies and depend on that the information these other country spies tell them is correct. But you want to go and get your own spy on your own American people? Ridiculous. All right, let's close this out, man.
There was a dramatic leak in 2017 that the CIA came to call the Vault 7 disclosures. Gigabytes worth of documents leaked by a CIA technology engineer. What he told us was that the CIA can intercept anything from anyone, number one. Number two, they can remotely take control of your car through the car's embedded computer. To do what? To make you drive off a bridge, into a tree, to make you kill yourself and make it look like an accident. They can take over your smart television and turn the speaker into a microphone so that they can listen to what's being said in the room even when the TV is turned off. God knows what else that they can do that hasn't been leaked.
So if you have one of them smart TVs and a laptop, I'm on the laptop right now, you know what I'm saying? So laptops, smart TVs, beware, man. Because like I said, for some reason they want to spy on us. And like I said, not everybody's into wanting to do any terrorist acts. There's people who just, if you kind of go after them, then they're going to fight. But then, of course, we got others that are not going to do anything at all. And that's just how life is. But I'm sure if anybody tried to do some terror, and it has actually happened. Recently, I just did a video about the ROTC cadets in Old Dominion University, how they took out a terrorist. All right, so people do fight these terrorists back, but for some reason they wanted to spy on American citizens, as if everybody wants to do something criminal and federal crimes and terroristic type of stuff. Nah, there's a lot of people who will be down if the opportunity presents itself. They'll fight a terrorist, just like I said, what recently happened at Old Dominion, right? So you guys let me know what you think, man, about this one. And yeah, just go ahead and put it in the comments and, let me know, man. Let me know what you think about this. Tell me about, the situation about the car control. Did you have this type of thought for quite some time? Is this something that's opening up your mind and your eyes about it now? Let me know what you think, man. All right. So with that being said, again, this is Thoughts of a Black Man. I'll catch you on another one, man. We out or I'm out. Peace.